On today's episode of the Good Vibes Garage, I'm going to be showing you guys a detailed look at how I went about making a home gym in my basement. The goal was to create a mid-tier gym on a budget that I could go downstairs and have a full body workout without breaking the bank. I ordered most of the equipment online from Rep, which included the PR4000 power rack, the lat and low row attachment, as well as adjustable dumbbells and a Landmine attachment. For lower body, I went with the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro and leg developer attachment, and I also picked up some free weight bumper plates and an Olympic bar from a local supplier here in Michigan. The majority of the flooring was from American Floor Mats using their half-inch regrind rubber roll mats. I also picked up some smaller, softer cheap mats from Costco for an ab section as well. I'll take you through step by step, and then at the end of the video, we can sum the cost of the entire gym. My unfinished basement luckily had a lot of real estate, so the total size of the gym was 12 feet wide by 24 feet long. After cleaning the basement slab, we began by laying down some DMX one-step underlayment. If you're building your gym in an unfinished basement like this, or in your garage, you're definitely going to want to use underlayment. On the underside of the one step, there's airflow channels that allow for evaporation of any condensation that forms underneath the non-porous floor mats. These poor devils from Reddit are a perfect example of what can happen if you don't have underlayment underneath your horse stalls or gym flooring rolls. The one step comes in 100 square foot quantities at $75 per 100 square feet, so we got 3 rolls at $225. We used two-sided carpet tape to attach the underlayment to the slab, as well as to attach the American floor mats to the underlayment. In total, we used $50 worth of two-sided carpet tape, and as you can see in this step, I was just using some seam tape that came included with the DMX one step. I got a weight tree, 230 pounds of rubber bumper plates, and an Olympic barbell from Forge Fitness in Novi, Michigan. I would really recommend getting your bumper plates or weight plates locally to avoid shipping costs if you buy them online. The total cost from Forge Fitness was only $467. The next day I got my shipment from American Floor Mats that included 6 rolls of 4 by 10 foot of the rubber floor mats. The reason I got so many rolls was due to the weight of the half-inch thick flooring. Each roll was about 120 pounds, so I figured I went with as many cuts necessary to be able to easily move the floor mats by myself. Luckily, they don't charge by the cut and instead only by the square footage. I went to Tractor Supply to investigate the horse stall mats that some people use in their home gyms. I found the look of them to be somewhat unrefined, as well as they had a very strong odor. The good thing about these American floor mats is after about a day or two, the rubber smell dissipated in the basement. Initially, I had some concerns that the half-inch flooring might not be thick enough and was considering the even heavier and more expensive 3/4 inch flooring. I'm glad I didn't go with the 3/4 inch flooring, as the half-inch thick is plenty adequate for the lifts I'm doing. After working out on the half-inch for a few months now, I think you'd have to be moving some serious weight to even consider stepping up to the 3/4 inch. The total cost of the floor rolls plus freight shipping from LVL was $737. The Rep PR4000 power rack is definitely overkill for my needs, but I went with it due to its multitude of attachment and flexibility. I like how over time you can upgrade it, and I'm even considering getting the Aries attachment sometime down the road. Since I had the space, this is the 93-inch tall by 30-inch deep power rack. I also got the stabilizer legs, so I didn't need to bolt it to the floor. Also included with my order from Rep was a rear base stabilizer, a leg roller so you can be secure while doing lat pull downs, a landmine attachment, sandwich J-cups, pin and pipe safeties, a pull-up bar, as well as an AB 3100 adjustable bench. For dumbbells, I got the Quick Draw adjustable dumbbells that are 60 pounds each. One of my regrets with my Rep order was ordering both cable attachment packs. There's a lot of overlap between the normal and Pro series attachments, and I probably only needed one or the other. I was impressed with the customer service from Rep, and they were quick to correct when I was missing some attachments with my order. One of the things I found slightly strange though was they advertised free apparel on their website with a certain amount of dollars spent. It wasn't until I manually chatted an agent was I able to order and choose my free apparel. So I guess lesson learned, if you spend the money, make sure you get the free gear. I went with the plate-loaded lat and low row to save money, and let me tell you, you start having a workout within your workout. This is probably my number one regret of building the gym, but if I stick with it, I think I'll be able to justify going with the more expensive selectorized weights. The first few uses of the lat and low row, the action was not that smooth, but over time, it's gotten better. I think the sled was able to wear in a bit, as well as I applied some graphite grease to help it slide along the guides better. Because of how frictiony and almost sticky the initial movement of the sled is, some lightweight exercises like shoulder raises can be a challenge even unloaded. In total, the order from Rep was $3,264. I was really excited about the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro, but it ended up being just mediocre. On paper, the ability to do so many exercises sounds great, but it takes a little bit of time to set up in between each exercise, and I found the build quality of the one I got to be subpar. The online marketing campaign of the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro is maybe the most aggressive I've ever seen of a single product. If you so much as even Google this, your socials will be constantly flooded with ads until, like myself, you eventually cave and get one. In all seriousness, though, there are some exercises that it does really well. The GHD sit-ups and rear hypers are some of my favorites, as well as the leg developer attachment and the leg extensions and hamstring curls that you can do ends up resulting in a really good burn. If you're short on space, the Hyper Pro is great at what it does, which is offering many different leg and lower body exercises in a compact footprint. In my case, most of the exercises left me wanting a commercial version of the same piece of equipment. The assembly instructions and exercise library are thorough for the device, and the cost of the Hyper Pro plus the GHD plus the leg developer was $1,265. I wouldn't mind paying a premium if they came out with a sturdier version of the same Hyper Pro. For the icing on the cake, I went to Wall Control's factory outlet store, which is cheappegboards.com. They sell slightly less than perfect wall control boards, so I got 2 boards in orange and accessories to hang the various cable attachments. The total from cheappegboards.com was $110. When summing all the equipment from the 6 main vendors that I used, the total for this gym in March of 2025 prices is just under $6,400. I did go a little over my initial budget of $5,000, but I think the money spent will be well worth it considering all the new equipment I had to buy. Let's head downstairs for a quick recap.
Alright guys, so here's a final overview of the gym. Once again, the American floor mat section here on the left is 20 feet long by 12 feet wide. Enough room for the Hyper Pro and the PR4000, and it leaves some room if I need an additional machine or two or some area to do some free weight exercises. And then the ab section or stretching section here with the cheaper Costco mats, that is 4 foot by 12 foot. You can definitely tell a difference with these mats. I would really discourage you trying to build a home gym with the cheap Costco mats alone. This area was only $40 to buy, but as you can see here as I step on it, it's really squishy. If you do any type of heavy lifting like squats or deadlifts, heck, even curling on this, I would worry you would twist an ankle, whereas the fitness mats from American Floor Mat, there's no give. You can drop the weights on those and everything's going to be fine. I've got a sample here of the underlayment so you can see what I set these mats on. So this is the top side, and then the bottom side has those air channels like I was talking about, where any of that condensation can evaporate out. Got the accessory storage here from Wall Control, their factory website. And shameless plug, if you want to watch a video about indoor air quality, check out my ERV video on the channel. Got the quick draw adjustable dumbbells here. Really nice, no issues with these. You've got 2.5 pound increments here, And then these are 5-pound increments. Really nice and sturdy. Make kind of a cool noise every rep. I like that. And then we've just got the cheapest bench from rep, which really gets the job done. I've had no issues with that. Done step ups on it and hip thrusts with pretty heavy weight, and it's held up nicely. And then I've got about a $250 mirror from Home Depot. And then we've got the lat pull down and low row attachment for the PR4000 power rack. Like I said, when you start to put on 50 pounds or more on the sled, it moves really nice and smoothly, but weights lower than that, it's definitely not as smooth as a commercial gym. And then I would recommend putting on some of the silicone lubricant every couple of months to help keep that sled sliding smoothly. Probably one of the easiest ways to save $100 would be to skip the weight tree. I don't have a ton of weights, and most of the time the weights are on the bar or on the attachment or just lying against the rack. I don't really use this a lot. And then last but not least, we've got the Freak Athlete. Like I said, I'm actually really pleased with it in this configuration with the leg extension and hamstring curl. Those exercises feel really, really nice. But, you know, every time you want to do a different exercise, you got to reconfigure the machine. It takes a little bit of time. And some of the exercises honestly don't feel that great and take a little while to set up. The two most notable build quality issues I had with it was the pads are just not that comfortable. They have a weird greasy texture, and they're not that thick compared to a commercial gym. And then I'll show you here the build quality issue I have with the GHD attachment, where I'm like 6'2", 210, and there's a lot of flex in the frame and it just doesn't feel that stable. So with everything in GHD mode, all these knobs tighten down, there's still quite a bit of flex, especially when I put my whole body weight on this. It's just a little bit unnerving. Definitely disappointing for the price you pay, but there just seems to be a lot of flex of this shaft and this sleeve combined with the flex that you get of the GHD attachment on there. So that's my other main complaint with this. My last and final tip that allowed me to get the Freak Athlete and all the rep equipment 30+% off is a website called TrueMed. That website allows you to get a letter of medical necessity from a doctor, and you can use your HSA to buy the fitness equipment. Now, if you guys don't know, an HSA is triple tax advantage. You don't pay tax on your income that goes in the HSA, your earnings of the HSA if you have it invested, or your withdrawals from the HSA. So in my case, I save 30+% on all that equipment using TrueMed, and they've got a lot of brands that they work with on there. Obviously Rep and Freak Athlete, but then they also have brands like Bells of Steel, Nike Strength, and a bunch of other popular brands. So I would highly recommend checking out TrueMed and putting in some info and seeing if you qualify, because I really think you should be able to use your HSA to buy gym equipment like this, and I was able to quite easily get some letters written. It was kind of cool. The doctor wrote them at like 1 in the morning from Iowa, I think it was, and the transaction was super smooth. Used my HSA card and everything's good. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and this gives you some ideas for a home gym of your own. Good Vibes Garage out.